Ford has increased the price by 16,000 US dollars this year alone. 3 separate price rises. The reason being, it cannot make a cheap, affordable electric pickup truck with its current technology. But it does have a plan on how it believes it can make one in the future. Here is the story. Here is the technology Ford plan on using to be able to make that happen. And to be able to stop raising the price of its electric vehicles constantly. Remember when Ford promised a $40,000 electric pickup truck and I said that this was the bargain of the decade and it most likely would never exist except potentially in minuscule quantities? Remember I told you that? Yeah, turned out that it was not just true, but exceptionally true. In fact, now more than ever, it's looking like Ford must have been losing tens of thousands of dollars per car they were selling at that price. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thank you for tuning in to the channel that makes more videos about electric cars and renewable energy and battery technology than I believe any other YouTube channel. Now, Ford seems to believe that it's okay to say you're going to sell a product for $40,000 and then raise the price 3 times within the space of about 10 months. That's an excessive price increase. If you combine this, Ford's headquarters doing this with Ford's dealers marking up the price again, it leads to possibly a quite negative experience for customers. Ford is saying they're trying to change these practices, but it appears as though that was really just lip surface. Ford has hiked the F150 Lightning electric pickup truck price by 9%. Yet again, it now starts at $56,000. It was $40,000 only a matter of months ago. That means the price has increased by $16,000 within the space of, like I said, several months. But the thing is, Ford's dealers are then adding an extra markup on top. So, this car this pickup truck, which I once said was the best bargain when it comes to electric vehicles anywhere in the world, which it was, it's no longer because the price is much higher than it sounds. That said, I'd probably still consider buying one, to be honest. I love them. And it's electric, and it's a pickup truck. It's awesome. What more could you want? Well, a bit of transparency, I'd say, between Ford changing the price, selling these in tiny, minuscule numbers in the cheap version. The more expensive versions, they're much more available, but they're still hard to get to. Ford has once again raised the price. However, that price is actually more expensive than it sounds because you've got to add the destination fee, which is around $2,000 US, and the $645 acquisition fee as well. So you're adding in around $2,500 US to that price, meaning the price is actually $58,514. Still a pretty good deal, but it's nowhere near the price that Ford promised. How many times? How many times did Jim Farley say that this would be the price, $40,000 US? And why is it that we criticize Tesla, which is fair? I totally agree it's fair. Tesla said they'd have a Model 3 for $35,000. It existed for a little while, not for very long. But why is it that we criticize Tesla for doing that, even though they are pretty much doing that in China, not in the US, but in China? And it's, 5 years later, and they are doing that in China. But we give Ford a free pass. No one seems to be really mentioning this. No one really seems to be calling out Ford and saying, hey, Ford, what's the deal? Now, this marks a $5,000 US increase over the price for the same vehicle about a week ago. That was already significantly higher than the MSRP quoted for the most basic version of the electric pickup when pricing was first announced in May 2021. In fact, this is the truck's 3rd price increase this year. The F150 Lightning Pro's rapidly rising prices have seen it go from a starting point of $39,974 to $48,769 in August. That's this year, August 2022, to $53,770 in October, to its current price of, 56, but really 58.5 plus the dealer markup. Really probably looking at about another 10,000, around 68.5. As a result of these adjustments, the base model F150 Lightning prices MSRP has risen $16,000 US this year alone. The XLT standard range trim, meanwhile, now costs $63,500, up $4,000 from its previous starting point. I do actually think Ford has a way of selling these pickup trucks for around $50,000 and making a profit. I think they're currently in discussions with the world's biggest battery company on how they will actually go about making that happen. I'm going to explain that at the end of the video because I think it's going to happen. Now, Ford has told the media that this increase in price is part of the normal course of business due to rising material costs, market factors, and ongoing supply chain constraints. Indeed, automakers around the world are responding to rising costs and tight supply lines, and it is true that the price of lithium has skyrocketed over the past 12 months. When I say skyrocketed, that's an understatement. Like Ford, companies making EVs have been hit very hard, with Tesla, Lucid, and Rivian all announcing price hikes for their EVs this year. Though that said, Rivian and Lucid have discounted the prices of their cars over the past month. In fact, Lucid is offering some pretty significant discounts. Now, Ford has said this won't affect existing orders, but no one seems to know how many orders Ford have for the cheapest version of this pickup. The automaker told CarScoops, though, that this pricing adjustment is related to their base model Pro and XLT standard range. Retail orders awaiting delivery are unaffected. The same goes for commercial customers with a scheduled order. Now, the thing that I'm confused about here is Ford actually has around, I think, 3 years worth of production booked out. If you purchase an electric pickup right now from Ford, you'll have to wait at least 3 years, right? Unless maybe you buy the most expensive model, they'll probably prioritize you then. But if you don't, then you've got to wait a long, long time. So if Ford's saying that they've sold huge numbers of these pickups for $39,974, that they're going to be delivering for that price in 3 years' time, I find that hard to believe. Maybe it's true though. I don't know. Ford seems to believe though that this pricing increase won't deter buyers, because just this week it announced that it would be adding a third line to its River Rouge assembly plant where the Ford F150 Lightning is made, which makes a lot of sense considering the fact they have hundreds of thousands of pre-orders and probably plenty more people wanting to order. If they hadn't have actually paused the ability to continue to order, that figure would be much, much higher. And this is in spite really of some pretty dodgy tactics from Ford dealers with markups of up to $50,000 on these vehicles. The automakers cited huge demand for the electric truck as rationale for the addition of 250 workers to the line because, well, yeah, it makes sense. Make more of them, right? Ford also said that the tax incentives contained within the Inflation Reduction Act could add to demand for electric commercial vehicles, but Ford doesn't actually know if these vehicles will qualify for the new tax credits. They think it'll be around $3,250 that they'll qualify for, but it could be more, could be less. We don't know for sure yet. Ford is targeting annual production of 150,000 F-150 Lightnings per year by the fall of 2023, and said earlier this year that it had received more than 200,000 orders for the pickup truck before it paused pre-orders because it just said, we've got too many. So will this deter buyers? I actually don't think it will. I still think the price is good. Now, this is the short range pickup truck. By the way, if you want the long range, it's about $10,000 more. Personally, I think the short range trucks, the range is just too short because the charging on this pickup truck is pretty slow. It's 150 kilowatt fast charging. That's like best case scenario. You're not really going to get that usually, meaning the battery will take a long time to charge. The range is not very long. So if you want to drive, just say a couple hundred miles, you're going to find that's going to be problematic if you've got to go there and back. So that's a real deterrent, in my opinion, for the standard range. That said, I don't really care because I want more people out of gasoline-powered trucks into electric trucks. And the reality is most people with a truck don't drive that far on a daily basis. That's the truth. I still think these are really good vehicles for the price. But Ford's message to buyers saying, we're just going to keep on raising the prices. Dealers are going to charge you significantly more. We don't really care. If they do it, we might tell them off, but that we won't actually do anything about it. That to me needs to change for Ford because eventually they'll be competing with Tesla, with Rivian, with Lordstown, maybe, you never know, Foxconn. They'll be competing with General Motors and their electric Silverado pickup, which is very impressive. The GMC Sierra EV, the Hummer EV, maybe that's not a competitor, it's a behemoth, so just rule that one out. The Canoe electric pickup truck, which is actually one of my favorite pickup trucks, and I'd probably prefer one of those. No, definitely prefer one of those over this. But anyhow, that's another story. There's going to be a whole range. Maybe Ram. You never know. Maybe Ram will pull their fingers out of their behinds and actually bring out their pickup truck as well. So 5 years' time, there's going to be a lot of choices. So if Ford keeps on raising the prices, that will be a problem. How are they going to decrease their price? They're not making a profit on these. There's no way known. At these current prices, even at that price, they're still not making a profit. So how are they going to change that? Well, the only way they can do that, in my view, is to manufacture these on a new platform, an EV-specific platform, which they're planning on doing. That's going to be a few years away, but they plan on doing that. But the other big problem they have is the cost of the battery packs. Battery packs with a lithium ternary or nickel-based battery chemistry are expensive, especially the ones that Ford make. They're not really streamlined in the way that some of the companies are. But Ford is in discussions with CATL, where Ford will build a factory, a huge factory in the United States to produce possibly lithium iron phosphate battery cells, which are much cheaper than lithium ternary battery cells, and or sodium batteries. Now, if Ford goes down this route, it would be able to reduce battery costs by between 30 to 50%, depending on which of those chemistries it goes with. And Ford is definitely interested in using LFP batteries. We know that for a fact. We also know that they're discussing this project right now with CATL, the world's largest battery manufacturer. We also know that CATL says that in 2023, it will have sodium batteries, not only for energy storage, but also for electric cars. Could this be the route that Ford goes? I think it could be. In fact, I think Ford has zero choice. They have to produce pickup trucks using LFP batteries at some point. The only solution, that is the only solution to affordable electric pickup trucks, which the market desperately is crying out for and desperately wants. Or sodium batteries, one or the other. Both would work. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you think Ford is planning on doing that? As always, my friends, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.